There's something in the air on some teams. People are walking on eggshells, wearing masks, saying the right things, but meaning none of them. And somewhere behind all of that is a leader who thinks they're being kind. Today, we're talking about candor, not the blunt force kind, not the I'm just being honest kind, which is just criticism with a disclaimer, but the kind that actually moves people forward. First, let's get clear on what holding back really costs us. When a leader stays quiet about a problem, the team doesn't feel safe. They feel that something's off. That feeling eats at the trust, creativity, and eventually people start leaving. On the other end, when leaders do speak up but tackle the person instead of the problem, the people don't get better. They just get better at hiding, better at covering up, better at keeping bad news quiet. Because to them, the cost of sharing the mistake seems too high. Here's a deeper truth. Some leaders don't hold back because they're weak. They hold back because they want to be liked. And that's understandable. But eventually it backfires because your team knows. They know when the leader doesn't think they can handle the truth. They know when their leader doesn't have the nerve to hold a standard. And instead of building goodwill, it ends up breeding contempt. So, what does healthy candor actually look like? It starts first with a shift in posture. From being a parent speaking to a child to an adult speaking to another adult, one professional to another. When something needs to be said, you're not issuing a decree or a verdict, you're sharing what you saw. Here's an illustration. What the presentation looked like to me was three people who hadn't taken the time to prepare their message. Am I off base on that? See, that's different from you three really dropped the ball on this one. Same concern, completely different focus and impact. And here's something more to look at with that. Sharing what's at stake in what you're saying can be really helpful. Here's my worry. If the client sees this level of preparation, we lose their trust before we even get started. See, that's not a threat. That's the leader letting somebody know what their view is and treating them like somebody who also cares about the outcome. Now, let's give a word to the other side of candor, and that's recognition. A lot of leaders skip it or they do it badly. It's the good job cleaning your room version, handed down from above. Sounds patronizing and shallow. The kind that really matters comes from genuine admiration between two people who are both in the work. Here's an example. The way you handled that customer, staying calm, getting into a real conversation, I'm going to borrow that the next time I'm in the same situation. See, that's not praise from a boss. That's one professional telling another, I see what you did, and it's good. And while we're here, asking for input can also help with the relationship. What's your take on this? What am I missing here? How could I improve this? It shows that you see them as a thinking adult who is worth hearing their perspective on. See, candor isn't a style, it's a form of respect. Masks come off when people know what their leader says is real. And when their concern is genuine, the recognition is earned and the silence isn't hiding anything. That's the culture healthy candor helps to build. Now, go lead well. I'll see you next week.